Joining us now for more context and analysis is ABC News business reporter Alexis Christoforous. Alexis, thank you so much for joining us. So let's start off with the 40-year high inflation. Just today, Biden described it as unacceptably high, but he also said that it was out of date, that it doesn't reflect the recent drops that we've seen in energy. Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say. Technically, he's right. I mean, this report looks back at June. That's when we had gas prices topping $5 a gallon nationwide in this country. That was a record high. In the weeks that have followed, prices have come down. Now the average price for a gallon of gas is about $4.63, and that's not reflected this month. It will be reflected next month when we take a look at the July numbers. But any way you slice it, this is a very hot inflation report, much stronger than we expected, and higher prices across the board. And once again, energy, food, and housing costs leading the way.
Of course, this is a worldwide issue, but how much longer can Americans expect to have to basically strap down here?
Well, you know, the Federal Reserve has pulled no punches. They're going to keep raising interest rates until inflation really comes down. Some are expecting rates to rise at the next 2 meetings, at least from the Federal Reserve, which means interest rates are going to be higher. We don't see any real relief in terms of the supply chain issues, the war in Ukraine, all of those pricing pressures continuing here. So while we were hoping that this report would show a peak in inflation, it has not. And I think we all need to hunker down for this to stick around at least through the end of the year.
Sounds like the most recent numbers, I think it's about $80,000 median average household income. We're talking about for a family of 4.
Right.
So what kind of tips might you be able to give for that family who's trying to really stretch those dollars at this point?
Here are some ways, you know, you can sort of help make your dollar stretch a little further. Pay down those high interest credit card balances or consolidate them into one credit card that's a little more favorable for you. Negotiate things like your insurance rates on home insurance and car insurance. You know, we do a lot to negotiate when we first get the insurance, then we sort of set it and forget it. Go back and revisit that and identify ways to cut back. It's the little things. Look at recurring subscriptions. I know I've had a few. Get rid of them if you don't need them. Do you need 6 or 7 streaming video services that you need to pay for? Look at your phone bill. Is a prepaid service plan perhaps making more sense? Wi-Fi is so prevalent now. Maybe you don't need the plan that you currently have. Get rid of the landline. I did that recently. Maybe a cell phone is enough. It's those little things that add up and really make a difference.
And between COVID, supply chain issues, the war that's going on currently in Ukraine, did economists predict this, that things would be this bad and this expensive for this prolonged amount of time?
You know, it's always hard to sort of call the market, call what's going to happen with the economy. I think a few economists did see it coming when we started pumping so much stimulus into the economy during the pandemic, that at some point down the road, we were going to have to pay for it. And just today, Bank of America coming out and saying they expect a mild recession at some point this year, mild and short-lived, but a recession nonetheless.
Is it time? I think based on how you just answered that, this is probably not, I can probably anticipate what you're going to say, but should the federal government consider stimulus checks, or is that just a short-term fix that will eventually catch up with us again?
It's a short-term fix that we're going to have to pay for down the road. I think the last thing economists would want to see is that this government continues to pump money back in. What we're trying to do is reduce demand. If you pump more money into the economy and give more people money in their pockets, they may go out and spend. We want to destimulate the economy, which I know sort of sounds like, why would you want to do that? But that would at least lessen the pressure on prices right now.
You know, it sounds like there's a thought that people can maybe go to their bosses and say, hey, things are kind of hard. Can I get more? Is that something that you would advise?
You know, well, it depends on the kind of relationship you have with your boss. And this, again, goes under that umbrella of, you know, negotiate everything. The worst thing they'll say is no. I think, you know, if you go to your boss and ask for a raise, going and just saying everything costs me more, inflation is high, so I'd like a raise, isn't going to cut it, because your boss will probably say, expenses are higher for us as well. So if you really have a work performance that you can point to, that together with the argument that everything is more expensive, you might have a little luck.
All right. Alexis, we thank you so much for your tips and insight. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.